If I give you 5 seconds, starting from now. Okay, with his last move, he's left d6 and pre, so I just need to gain a tempo, and then knight takes d6 is possible. So I gain a tempo by attacking the only tactical vulnerability in his position, this knight. So I play bishop c3. So he really collapses here, actually, needlessly, after losing a pawn. So he plays knight fd5, I take the pawn, wonderful. I've actually got something to show for this pathetic opening. So knight takes, b takes, and he plays knight d5. Wonderful, I can even attack that knight. It's a new tactical vulnerability, so I attack it by playing knight g5. With some ideas and some variations that I might even be able to play knight f7 if he's not careful. But I expected knight e7, and then as long as d5 is covered, there's no knight f7s with the idea of bishop d5. But he surprises me. I didn't think this was that sound. He played knight takes c3. So technically he's really damaging his position now, because giving up 2 pieces to win a rook is generally not that great an idea. Now the 2 obvious moves I thought were too obvious last night, and I thought, oh, that's giving him what he wants. But actually the obvious moves are fine as well as any clever moves. I tried to play a clever move, rook ca3, but it's actually no big deal at all apparently when I checked with Rybka. I can take with the knight, I can play this, I can play this, I can play that. So I can, there's all sorts of possibilities. Knight g4, there's no big deal about f5 here. Because rook takes c8. So say bishop takes, then rook takes. And I'm fine here. Because I've got enough material. Yeah, if I just take, I'll be a piece up, etc. I'll be ahead on material. This is fine, and also just even knight takes is okay here. So my concern about f5 was slightly unjustified. So anyway, I played rook ca3 because I was also concerned about rook d8 with the idea of my back row being weak, which we discussed in post-mortem as though that was a big deal, but I think even in post-mortem maybe we thought it wasn't such a big deal, because the thing is, if he takes and plays rook d8, so yeah, if I'm a complete dummy, I'll allow myself to be mated, which is possible, of course. So bishop f1, bishop h3, well, once he chases the knight, then bishop h3 if I really want to lose the game. Actually, even in this position, there's almost knight d2. No, there isn't. No, that would be a way for me to lose the game if I really wanted to try hard. So I was slightly conscious about the back row, but it really isn't a big deal, because here I just play knight takes c8, and again I'm ahead of material as long as I don't mind the rooks being exchanged. But he seemed to think this might be more playable than the game, which might be true, because actually, if he can win this a pawn, then that is going to be trickier, because he'll be creating an outside pass pawn. So in this position, is this so clear? Okay, I'm going to turn on Rybka. Is it really so clear? Knight c3, can't he try and win the a pawn? Rook a3. Oh, knight d5. Alright, so I'll be getting his pawn in exchange. So anyway, that's not as clear cut as what happened in the game. In the game, I was more cautious, so I played rook ca3, keeping one of the rooks on. So he took, and then he played f5. And I know from past experience that this structure isn't, it's impressive looking, aggressive looking, but sometimes, like in the French defence, the undermining of it gives the opponent an advantage, especially if they've got more pressure. Like here, I've got enough pressure on e4, for sure, to play f3 quite nicely. He doesn't really want to allow this bishop to come into the game. So what he did actually was make his position even worse now by playing bishop a6. So he actually gives me a strong, dangerous pass pawn, supporting the knight on d6, but it was coming up to move 30, so he was getting very short of time now. And it's a total disaster, actually, what happened from here. I took, and he played rook d8, so I just support it, fine. So I've got a big passed pawn with the potential of e6 one day, just with a very dangerous threat if I can protect d6. And now a totally disastrous move, bishop takes e2. So I just get my knight on the rim, which was being dim, into the centre, knight f4, and all of a sudden it's a monster. There's even no bishop c4 because of that knight, so he moves the bishop there, and I just play knight e6 now, and he resigns. So I'm just going to be a whole piece up, clearly, with a big passed pawn, etc. So he resigns here. So yeah, I don't know, it was an interesting game, but it was the fear of this English symmetrical, was present. I have to say, I wasn't convinced. When I saw Queen A5, I thought, oh no. Sorry, there's a reason also why I can't stop Queen H5, which I did look at during the game. So why can't, a good question would be, if I wanted to stop Queen H5 with the symmetrical torture, why can't I play the move Bishop G5? And I think we should turn on Rybka here. I just thought Knight E4 was going to be really good. But let's check this. Bishop G5, Knight E4 is an advantage to black, or D5, Rybka's giving it depth 11, but let's have a look at Knight E4, because my king's still in the centre. This is the big problem. So Queen takes E4, Bishop takes C3 check. So if I take, he'll take and win the rook. So say I play Bishop D2, black ends up actually better. Now in this position he's got all sorts of moves. D6, Queen B4. It's fine. So that's the reason why I couldn't stop this really annoying symmetrical manoeuvre. Just Bishop G5, because my king's still stuck in the centre. So he'll have something like Knight E4 here. But I don't know what this D5 is about though. D5. I suppose it's the same theme that alright, say I castle, then DC4, and he's dragging my queen over. There's no way of me easily proceeding with the attack, perhaps. So that was the real downer, that I couldn't even stop this Queen H5 in the opening. So it was slightly depressing, to think that the queens are coming off. But C5 gave me this glimmer of hope that I could nurture, a tiny advantage in the position. With the slightly superior pawn structure, which I guess if you play the English opening, you're not really after a sharp theoretical battle to get a massive advantage, and so if you can't even get a structural advantage of some sort with the opponent having an isolated pawn, then for the English player, maybe you should delight in that, because it is a positional opening. But there's always the counterplay to factor in, even if the opponent does have an isolated pawn. Is this a theoretical weakness or a practical exploitable weakness? I mean, that's the big question. If black's going to get tons of counterplay from it, then it's fine. But he played it a bit meekly. That's the reason, I think. So there was something. He also had more centre pawns. And it was this temptation to fling these forwards which actually led to losing a pawn. So chasing my bishop. But here, with this knight and pre, I'm winning d6. And then it was a dramatic downfall after that, with this dubious giving away 2 pieces for the rook. So anyway, I hope there's something instructive in that. Please leave any comments or questions on YouTube. And by the way, we managed to thrash them 7-1. So that was a good match result. So our first match we had won 8-0, and this match 7-1. So if you want to play for Muswell Hill Chess Club, that's a very good club to play for. Look it up on Google. Thanks very much. Bye.